So for today, what we'll do for the session is we will look into a specific type of chart called seismogram. So it looks something like this. We'll look how to make this chart, and we'll also see one tip related to parameters in having multiple number formats. And yeah, those two are the tasks for today's session. First, let's take a look at the tip that we have for the parameter with multiple number formats. So let me explain what I mean by that by creating a simple visualization first. Let's say let me create category. So I'm just pulling sales for each subcategory, and let me actually do this. Okay, engagement and sales. Yeah, so I have a simple sales for a split across for each subcategory across different regions, and let me just create a parameter saying choose metric, and let me keep it as a string and give me a list. So the reason that I'm creating this parameter is to be able to dynamically see the metric that that is representing the bar, either sales or profit or anything. So this technique is pretty old. Many of us know. So let me profit and profit ratio, discount, and let's say shipping days. I think that should be fine. So I have some 5 metrics over here. Let me click OK, and I think I have 2 metrics. Okay, this is the one created, and let me single value list. So I have all these parameters. Now I'll create a dynamic field. Thereby my view changes based on my parameter selection. And I'll write a simple case statement based on my parameters. When it is sales, sales, then give me some more sales. When it is profit, when it is profit ratio, then give me actually profit ratio. Profit ratio, it's a calculated field and it's already aggregated, thereby we are not using the sum etc. aggregation here. Whereas discount, I think I have to create a field for this particular one, and discount, let me just pull up the average discount, because discount is given for every product in order. So since we are aggregating at a subcategory level, I need to do some aggregation here. Let me save this for the time being and come back. I need to create one metric for my shipping days. So create a calculated field. Days, just day diff, day difference on days from order date to my shipping date, and that should give me the number of days in shipping, and I will use that over here. Then use, I would say, maybe average. I think it should be good. Shipping days, and close it. Okay, and so my dynamic metric is done. I'll just replace my sales with this metric, and something we already know, as soon as I go across these metrics, my bar will keep on changing. But the tip that I'm talking about here is, if you notice, when I go across different metrics, right? So sales and profit, you can assume that we can have similar format here, like dollars or amount or currency, right? That should work fine for both of these. But when I come to profit ratio, it's showing something in a not very user-friendly format. It would be better if I can represent here in a nice percentage format, and same goes with the discount also. It would be nice if I represent this in percentages. And for shipping days, I should neither go with percentage or the currency, but I should go with the actual number, whatever it is. So this is the tip that we are trying to achieve it, to be able to have, as I go across these different metric parameter values, I should be able to get custom formats. And how do we achieve that? So in order to achieve that, we need to create a few more calculated fields based on the parameter that we created. So let's go ahead and do that. So for each parameter value that we have, or the metric that we have included in the parameter, we need to create one individual calculated field, additional calculated field. So for sales, let me create sales value. Okay, and if choose again choose metric, my parameter is equal to sales, then just take sum of sales. Okay, else null, and close it. So it's a simple thing. What it's trying to do is, when this particular field will only contain sales value when my parameter is chosen to sales. Otherwise, for every other parameter value, to just hold the null value. Let me actually, it just hold the null value. And let me, for the simplicity's sake, what I can do is I can replace here sum of sales with my dynamic metric, because my dynamic metric will hold when I select sales, dynamic metric will automatically turn into sum of sales, just because of the calculation that we wrote in the dynamic metric. So this will just make the calculation a little easier. Now all I have to do is I have to replicate this for all other parameter values. So let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that should be sufficient. And so profit, so this would be for profit, and this should be for profit ratio, this should be for discount, and there should be this. Okay, now I've created my formula. All I have to do is I have to save them in a separate calculated field. So I'll just drag each one and name accordingly. So profit value, close it, and this should be my profit ratio value. So profit ratio value, and this should be my discount value. Field, and this should be my shipping days value. this value, and let me just remove all this, and this should be my sales value. So click OK. I have my sales, profit ratio, and discount value. So all my value fields are here. Now what I have to do is I have to select all my value fields that I've created, and first before doing that, I need to set the proper formatting which we would like for each of these metrics. For example, on discount value, I would prefer a format of percentage, right? So I can go for percentage with single decimal, and then for profit ratio, let's say I'll go with some other number format. Let's say I'll choose custom, and let me just give some custom. Okay, and let me drag some symbols over here. Make it little
coverage వచ్చే
percentage, give that's line, and semicolon minus percentage. So for positive, whenever the profit ratio is positive, it will give me this format, and when it's negative, it will give me this format. So click OK. So I have set for profit ratio and discount. Now let me go ahead and select profit value and number format. Profit value, so let me keep it currency custom, and negative values, and it should be fine. Decimal 0, click OK. And sales also reducing number format, actually looking with currency standard, and then shipping days value. So for this one, let me come here and number custom, let's keep one decimal, and here this as suffix. That should. So I've set the format that I would require for on each of these metrics, and all I have to do now is select all the value fields, shipping days values, and put them on the label. Okay, now immediately you can see, since my shipping days is my metric is parameters on shipping days, I can see this particular format has applied, and I can see nice format on the shipping days. When I go to sales, I can see the standard currency with the 2 decimal places, and when I go to profit, again the format that I've set, and on the profit ratio, I can see now the percentages that which I want, with the up and low triangle symbols. And on the discount, since I've just set the percentages, it's all been set. But if you notice one thing, that on either on this discount view or on the profit ratio, or you can see some of the, not all labels are visible, right? So even if I set the view to entire view, not all the labels are visible. For example, for this mark, the label is missing, and likewise for few other marks. So the way to deal with it is basically you have to go to label and click here. So the reason that's happening is since each of these metrics are on a separate line here, the label that is being showed on the visualization, it will be a little lengthy. So what's happening here is, though you will see a little blank space here, it's all occupied with null values. Thereby it's the mark the mark in the middle is unable to have place for its own label. So what you have to do is you just have to put all of these metrics on a single line. Thereby it will stack up horizontally but not vertically, giving place for all the in-between marks. So when I click OK, all the marks are visible now. So yeah, this is how we can have custom number formats for parameter based dynamic views. So any doubts on this particular tip?
Jagadish, just one question. The triangle symbols that we had, right, for the increase or the decrease.
Yes.
So the increase or decrease is relative to what? Is it from the previous region or?
No. So this is the increment is here. It from the sense point of view, it doesn't represent anything. It's just saying that hey, in this particular region, it's not actually compared to anything. It's just since I have some positive and negative values, I thought it will be
okay, positive and negative. Got it. All right.
Yeah. Just because.
All right. Thanks.
Normally we would use them to show comparison between month over month or year over year, but here we are not doing this comparison. Just I wanted to show you some formatting techniques.
Right. Got it. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So this is tip 1, and let me go to say yes.
I think that's a good one.
Go ahead,
So see, when you I missed what exactly you did to get rid of the blanks, and you got the labels back, right? For some of the ones that were missing.
Okay. What happened? Yeah. So what happened is basically, if you see these value fields that we created, like discount value.
There are nulls.
Yeah, we have all nulls when other parameter is chosen. So what it will try to do is, since we have put all the 5 fields in the label, it will try to label all of them here,
right.
one after another in the new line. And since it's occupying space that is allocated for the next mark also, the label for the next mark has been sacrificed because of this. And what we just did was, don't stack up vertically, but just stack up horizontally in a single line. So if I just expand this, everything is in just single line, one after another.
So it's not inserting blank line, right? It's just putting whatever. Null will take much lesser space, and it will not have it will not allocate a line for it. That's what you're saying.
No, it will. Yeah. So as of now, whatever the space we are. It's taking same for the null. What I'm just doing is, hey, you're taking space below it. I don't want you to take space below the number, but just go besides it. So however length that you want. Yeah.
Not inserting a line, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right, yeah. Got it. So for the up arrow and down arrow, is there a way for us to like color it, or is that asking too much?
Yeah, coloring we can do it. So I think that's definitely possible. And let me see how. I just have to write a calculated field saying that whenever it's my up arrow is showing up to have a certain value, and the down arrow is showing up to have a certain value, and if I use that in color, I should be able to color it.
Okay.
So for example, just for positive values it's up arrow and negative values down arrow. So based on that logic, I should be able to create a calculated field, and that I should be able to put it in color. It should work.
The color will apply to the fill, right? Not to the arrow.
Actually, we can do it. The reason, let me. There should be a technique. I'm unable to recollect as of now, but it's possible.
And Jagdish, in number format, currently you drop the black arrows, right? If you change the color of arrows there, will it reflect here as well?
So, but what Chaitanya is talking about to have is dynamic color, right?
Yeah.
I think let's quickly try. What I'll do is.
All it takes is, if you're able to change the color of the font, and in that case, all it takes is one more calculated field for us to be able to get up green, down red.
Right. As I'm just trying to.
This one.
Okay.
The number currency.
Let me actually. I need to find a colored. I think if we give color here, I'm not so sure. I need to find that the color triangle, but yeah, we can look into it and get that. But from what I know, it's definitely possible just by writing one additional calculator field, we can get these up and down triangles colored as well. Yeah.
Maybe you can cover that in the next session.
Sure. Yeah.
So the crux of presentation is that you can do the formatting at the calculated field level, right?
Right. For each field, we can specify whatever the format that we would require. Okay.